Hi, it's Amy from Cakes with Faces and welcome back to Japan News, about all the new things that are opening in Japan, events and what's coming up. As always, I've got so much for you today, including pop-up theme cafes, themed hotel rooms, exhibitions, where you can film your own samurai movie and lots more. And thank you to everyone who's ordered my Japan guidebook recently. It has 300 pages of practical tips for your Japan trip. You can get it from cakeswithfaces.co.uk and you can order from any country in the world. Now let's get started. This March there was a record number of visitors to Japan. In March 2024, for the first time ever, there were over 3 million foreign visitors. That's an 11.6 increase since before 2020 in March 2019. And I was one of them. I hope you've been enjoying my new Japan videos. There's lots more to come, although I do still have some videos to edit from my previous trip in 2023, so it might be a bit of a mixture. There's a Studio Ghibli exhibition in Yokosuka, which is a day trip from Tokyo. It focuses on Toshio Suzuki, who produced major films including Studio Ghibli and Howl's Moving Castle. It includes their inspirations, scenes from their animations and photo spots. The touring exhibition will be at Yokosuka Museum of Art until the 18th of June. At weekends there'll be a special ferry from Mikasa Terminal to the museum. There'll be a mini exhibition at the ferry terminal and a stamp rally around Yokosuka. Next, there's a Pokemon Japanese crafts exhibition at Sagawa Museum of Art in Shiga, which is near Lake Biwa, which is just over an hour from Kyoto on public transport. Traditional craftspeople have combined Pokemon with Japanese crafts to create ceramics, sculptures, kimono and patterns. There's some really interesting combinations and some quite beautiful creations. That's on until the 9th of June, then after that it's touring to Shizuoka, Tokyo, Nagoya, Aomori and Nagasaki. Next, there's a Gundam exhibition at Anime Station Tokyo, which is a new facility in Ikebukuro. It's in conjunction with the release of the film Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Freedom and the 45th anniversary of the Gundam world, looking back over past releases. It's on until the 6th of May and it's free. After that, there'll be a Love Live Superstar exhibition from the 18th of May to the 18th of August. Next is the Sanrio exhibition about the beginning of kawaii, which has been touring around Japan but has never been in a convenient spot for me to go, but I really want to see it. It's now moved to Kumamoto, which is where I was last month. It's evaded me again. It's there until the 30th of June. It's all about the history of Hello Kitty and how cute stuff got to be so popular. There's a Monster Hunter exhibition in Tokyo at the Mori Arts Centre in Roppongi Hills. That starts on the 19th of July until the 8th of September and tickets are on sale now. It's for the 20th anniversary of Monster Hunter. There'll be a cinema, interactive experiences with weapons and armour from the games, and the main attraction is an AR experience where you can encounter the monsters themselves. The next one isn't in Japan, it's in LA, a Sebastian Masuda art exhibition called Yes, Kawaii is Art, Express Yourself. It's at Japan House Los Angeles from the 2nd of May till the 3rd of November. Sebastian Masuda is an artist best known as the owner of original Harajuku brand 6% Doki Doki. He's one of the icons of the kawaii world, and as always the exhibition looks super colourful and super fun. Also in LA there's going to be a permanent Gudetama theme cafe. There aren't many details released yet, but if the other Gudetama cafes are anything to go by, it's going to be amazing and very yellow. It's in Buena Park and it opens on the 4th of May. If you go on the opening day, there's going to be a meet and greet with Gudetama themselves. Next, TeamLab is back at Mifuneyama Rakuen in Kyushu. It's a temporary attraction that was there a while ago and it'll be back from the 12th of July to the 4th of November. It's called TeamLab, a forest where gods live, and it's outside around a park and garden. There's projections on the surface of a pond, on trees, on rocks, and inside the ruins of an old bathhouse. It looks really atmospheric, combining nature with digital projections. There are also 2 tea houses like N Tea House at TeamLab Borderless in Tokyo, where flowers bloom in your tea. It's at Takeo Onsen in Kyushu. If you're taking the Shinkansen from Fukuoka to Nagasaki, Takeo Onsen is where you change trains from the regular express train to the Shinkansen. It's just over an hour from Fukuoka. So you could stop off there on your way to Nagasaki or stay over in Takeo Onsen at a ryokan and enjoy the hot spring baths. Next, we've got some news about what's happening at the old Tsukiji fish market in Tokyo, which has been empty since it closed in 2018. It's going to be a stadium with hotels and offices. The stadium will have sport, music and events. It'll be able to hold 50,000 people, which is a similar size to Tokyo Dome. The first part will be open in 2029 and it'll be fully open in 2032. Note that it's the old wholesale fish market that's being redeveloped. The outer market with all the food stalls that's open to the public is still there, and that's going strong as ever. It's become extremely popular with tourists, so it is always very crowded. I have a video from last year showing what it's like, and I also have a video about the new complex at Toyosu Fish Market that's open to the public. The best part about that is a free foot bath on the roof with fantastic views. Next, you've probably heard about the Kyoto tourist ban already, but I wanted to address it because I feel like there's been so much clickbait and over dramatization that I wanted to share what's actually happened. So tourists are now not allowed into several back streets in Gion, which is the main geisha district of Kyoto. It's a really pretty area, and the streets where tourists aren't allowed are small, narrow back streets where people live and work. Understandably, the people there don't want crowds of tourists blocking the streets, taking pictures and being noisy while they're just trying to go about their everyday lives, which I think is perfectly understandable. The streets that are closed are marked in pink on this map. I posted this on my Instagram, Cakes with Faces. You can still visit Gion. The main Hanami Koji Dori is still open. That's the street you see in most pictures of the area, and you can still go to lots of beautiful places. When I was last there in 2023, those streets already had no photos signs on them, so I don't have pictures of them, but you can still go everywhere that's in my video, and you can still enjoy Gion. Next, at the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building in Shinjuku, there are free projection mapping displays. This is a really good place to go for the free observation deck, which is open during the day and at night time. And now there are projection mapping displays on the outside in the evenings as well. It's called Tokyo Night and Light. It has the Guinness World Record for the largest architectural projection mapped display. It's on every night from 7 or 7:30 until about 9 p.m. The schedule's on the official website. There's a couple of different displays, including a short Godzilla film at the weekends. Next, we all know about the fancy manhole covers in Japan. There's the traditional ones, the Pokemon poker lids, and now they've installed Sailor Moon manhole covers in Tokyo. They're around the Azabu Juban area, which is where Sailor Moon is set. It's near Tokyo Tower and the new TeamLab borderless if you're going there. There's a map showing where you can find them. There's also a manhole cover card. Some of the special manhole covers have a free collector's card. So while stocks last, this one's available from the Tourist Information Office by Tamachi Station. If you like Sailor Moon, remember to visit Small Worlds Tokyo, where you can see the world of Sailor Moon in miniature. It's so cute. There's a video of that on my channel. And there's also a Sailor Moon exhibition at Namba Parks in Osaka, celebrating the 30th anniversary of Sailor Moon. It's got artwork, costumes and merchandise. That's on until the 2nd of June. It's the same exhibition that was in Tokyo, then Fukuoka, and after this it'll be moving on to Nagoya from the 13th of July to the 1st of September. There's also a theme cafe with transformation brooch muffins, pink ribbon pasta, and Lunar and Artemis curry. And there'll be more about theme cafes in a minute. Next is an update about the charge for climbing Mount Fuji. It's going to cost 2,000 yen and it starts on the 1st of July. They're limiting numbers to 4,000 people a day for safety, and you won't be allowed through from 4 p.m. till 3 a.m, again for safety, to stop people climbing late in the day to reach the top by sunrise without resting properly or staying in one of the lodges. They've also announced there'll be a fee for Mount Koya, which is a place with mysterious temples and shrines and pilgrimage trails. Only 3,000 people live in the town of Koya, but last year 1.4 million people visited. That's both Japanese and foreign tourists, which it's easy to see is completely disproportionate. So the fee will help pay for infrastructure to cope with the increase in visitors who don't always spend that much money there, especially as most people go on a day trip from Kyoto or Osaka and then go back in the evening, so they're not even buying their evening meal in the town of Koya. So that really shows the importance of supporting local restaurants and businesses when you visit somewhere. They haven't announced how much the fee will be, but it'll be starting in spring 2028. Next, a new complex has opened in Harajuku called Harakado. It's near La Forêt at the big crossroads opposite Tokyu Plaza shopping mall. That's the one with all the mirrors, and this new one looks pretty interesting as well. I was there earlier this year before it opened. It's got shops and restaurants, but probably the most significant thing is the roof garden, which looks like a really nice space to take a break when you're shopping in Harajuku. There aren't many benches around that area or places to sit down. The 4th floor of Harakado is an indoor park that's open to everyone, so that's somewhere to remember to rest your feet if it's a rainy day. Also in Harajuku, remember the old Harajuku Station that closed a few years ago that everyone loved so much? Well, now they're building a reconstruction of it pretty much in the same place as the original. They'll be using the same weather vane and stained glass from the original building. They're about to start construction and it'll be open in 2026. I don't know what's going to be inside it, but there'll be a new complex next to it that it says is going to be a commercial facility, which I'm guessing is some kind of shopping mall. So tell me in the comments what you think is going to be inside the station replica. Next, they've started building a video games art museum in Yokohama. It'll cover video games as an art form, including visuals, character design, soundtracks, and computer graphics. That's scheduled to open in 2027. And an update on the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto that was originally scheduled to open in March. Well, that hasn't happened, but there is a rumour it'll be opening in June. It's in Uji, which was in my recent video. It's a 20 or 30 minute train ride from Kyoto, so it's a really easy day trip. It's in an old Nintendo factory, so keep an eye out for news about that if you're going to Japan later this year. Likewise, at Universal Studios Japan, Donkey Kong Country has been slightly delayed. It's the expansion of Super Nintendo World that will increase the size by 70%. It was originally scheduled to open in spring 2024, and they're now saying the second half of 2024. I've got a video coming up with my tips for Universal Studios Japan, so subscribe if you want to catch that. Next is train news. First, from 2026, there'll be private rooms on the Hokkaido Shinkansen between Tokyo and Kyoto and Osaka. I think they're mainly aimed at business people who want to do Zoom calls and meetings, but you could book one for yourself and travel in style in your own private booth. I'm guessing they're a renovation of the old smoking rooms that are no longer used, but that's just my guess. Now, this is recycling. Sometimes the fabric on Shinkansen seats is replaced, and they're using the old fabric to make products for train fans, including bags, cushions, and luggage tags. It's great that it's being reused, and I'm sure they'll clean it properly, but I'm just not sure I want an eye mask made of fabric that thousands of people have sat on. They're also making suitcases out of recycled windows and aluminium from the trains. Next, the Platt Kodama is back. It's a discounted ticket for the Kodama, which is the slowest bullet train that stops at the most stations, and your ticket also includes a drink. I think this ticket went away for a bit from the English site, but now it's back and you can book it online. It's called the Shinkansen one-way trip. In most cases, you can get discounts that are almost as good if you book in advance on Smart EX, but if you want to try the green car, which is like first first class, the Platt Kodama could be a really good way to do it because the green car upgrade only costs slightly more than the standard fare. I will be making a video about Smart EX and how to buy train tickets online, so subscribe if you want to catch that. And I also have a video about the green car that shows what it's like. Next, the Maglev line has been delayed. It's the superconducting magnetic levitation trains that are even faster than the bullet train, at speeds of up to 500 kilometers an hour. It'll be running initially from Tokyo to Nagoya in only 40 minutes, and then eventually it'll go all the way to Osaka in just 67 minutes, which is so quick. It was originally scheduled to open in 2027, which seems really soon now, but now it's been delayed to 2034 or possibly later. You can learn all about the Maglev trains and how it works at the SC Maglev and Railway Park in Nagoya. It's really interesting. There's even a simulator so you can feel what it's like to go on the trains. It's so smooth. And now, if you go to the museum, you can spot me and Phil there. There's models of us in the Great Railway Diorama, which is a huge scene with lots of model trains going all around Japan. I loved watching it. You can find us filming a video outside the museum, just like when we were there in real life. The figures are only 22 millimeters tall. They're so tiny. If you spot us, please send me a picture. You can tag me on Instagram, Cakes with Faces, or if you email Cakes with Faces, it comes through to me. Thank you to JR Central and the museum for this unique opportunity. I love the museum and it's a real honour to be part of it in miniature. Next, there are new luxury trains in Hokkaido. They're called the Red and Blue Star trains and they look very fancy. They'll be running through the countryside. The Red Star goes from Kushiro to Abashiri Station and the Blue Star goes from Furano Station to Asashikawa Station. They're actually renovating some old trains that stopped running last year. This is what they used to look like, so it'll be quite the Cinderella transformation. Both trains will be finished and running from spring 2026. There's also a new luxury train in Kyushu called the Kanpachi Ichiroku. This one has a more modern style. The design's inspired by places along the route, and they used materials from the area like wood from Fukuoka. They serve bento boxes with local foods. It goes across Kyushu from Fukuoka through Kurume to Beppu, where you can see the Beppu Hells. Regular seats are 18,000 yen, and there's also a private tatami room for 23,000 yen per person. Now, I don't know about where you live, but here in the UK, even regular non-luxury trains could easily be that much if you're travelling long distance. And if you want to take any of these luxury trains, they are popular, so you do need to book as soon as tickets go on sale. Next, I've got some train-themed stamp rallies. We all love collecting souvenir stamps in Japan, and at the moment there are some train-themed stamp rallies where you go around collecting special limited edition stamps from various locations. There's a Playrail or Plarail stamp rally in Tokyo and some Shinkansen lines until the 2nd of June, celebrating the 65th anniversary of Playrail model trains. If you collect 10 stamps, you get a prize. You can get the pamphlet to join in from major JR stations in Tokyo. I'm guessing one of the stations that has a stamp. There's also a stamp rally from Hankyu Railways around Kobe and Kyoto until the 8th of July. This one has trains and cute bears. Of course, you can collect the stamps just for fun, but if you collect all 4 of them, you get some magnets as a prize. You can start this one at the Hankyu information desk at Kyoto Kawaramachi Station. Next, if you've ever wanted to star in a samurai action movie, now you can at Toei Kyoto Studio Park in Kyoto. It's a historic theme park with sets from period dramas. Now you can do a katana sword fighting experience in costume and take home a video of your battle. You can also do a photo shoot. It's not available all year round, so check that before you go. It's in Kyoto on the way to Arashiyama, so it's really easy to get to. Next, there's a new silent cafe in Osaka. It's called the Shoujo Cafe. And tell me in the comments if you like the sound of this. There's no music and talking isn't allowed, so you have to point at the menu to order or use sign language. But there is a reason for this. Many of the staff are deaf or hard of hearing, so while they're working at the cafe, everyone's in the same position, everyone has the same experience. Which brings us on to pop-up theme cafes. At the moment, there are cafes themed around Star Wars, where you can try food from the movies, a Disney princess cafe with all the princesses as manga characters. There are cafes for Monster Hunter, Mofusand, Mezzo Piano, and so many more. I keep a list of all of them on my website, cakeswithfaces.co.uk, in the blog section. I update it regularly, so be sure to check back. There are also some new themed hotel rooms. There's a deluxe Pokemon Sleep camping suite at the Tokyo Hyatt. It has a tent and a giant Snorlax plushie, and you get Pokemon themed room service. There are also 10 regular rooms that are a bit more low-key, with Snorlax blankets and smaller plushies. There's a Suica Penguin hotel room at the Hotel Metropolitan Ikebukuro, which often does Suica Penguin collabs. I love this one. The theme is a Suica Penguin cafe. Look at the footprints going across the bed. You also get penguin pyjamas and a Suica Penguin cake, which you can get from the cafe at the hotel if you're not staying there. Next, Space Cats. There are Space Cats at Ginza 6, which is a shopping mall in Ginza, the area of Tokyo where all the designer shops are. It's an art installation by Kenji Yonobe called Big Cat Bang. But why space cats? Well, the story goes that the space cats exploded into our universe at the time of the Big Bang. They travelled here in their spaceship that looks like the Tower of the Sun, which is in Osaka from the previous Osaka Expo in 1970. The space cats came to Earth and they sowed the seeds of life. Anyway, if you want to see the Space Cats, they're in Ginza 6 until autumn 2025. Next, I've got some sad news. Sanrio is discontinuing 16 characters. Of course, they're best known for Hello Kitty and her friends My Melody, Pom Pom Purin and all of them, but they actually create new characters all the time. They have so many. They don't all become popular, and now they've announced they're retiring 16 of their characters. Most of them aren't that well known, but it does include Kurimi-chan and Charmy Kitty. That means there won't be any new designs with them and there won't be any new merch. And remember, the annual Sanrio character ranking is on now, so vote for your favourites so they don't get retired. As always, I voted for Gudetama. Also in Sanrio news, there are special limited edition Kit Kats with Sanrio characters on. They're strawberry milk flavour, which is significant because the very first Sanrio designs back in the 1960s had strawberries on, and the first design of Hello Kitty has a bottle of milk. Each Kit Kat has a random Sanrio character on, a bit like a blind box. There are 28 characters in all, plus one mystery one. It's sad there isn't a Gudetama Kit Kat. They seem to be left out of so much recently. But at least Kurimi-chan gets a Kit Kat before they're retired. There's also an AR feature. If you scan the packet, you can take pictures of the characters in real life. So that's it for Japan news. We've had Space Cats, Pokemon crafts, and Shinkansen seat eye masks. Tell me in the comments what you're most excited about, and there'll be lots more Japan videos on Thursdays. Coming up, I've got a video about how to buy train tickets online and my tips for Universal Studios Japan. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.